Start your week smiling with your friends Kathy Zant and Michelle Frechette. It's time to get ready for some weekly motivation with WP Motivate. Happy Thursday, Kathy. I had to stop and think what day it was.
So always a good sign. You're lost in the flow.
Oh,
Don't
I
know what
tell
day
you.
it is.
Yeah, either that
Yeah,
or just
happy
so overwhelmed
Thursday.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's the
Anyway,
first day of February, though. We
it
went through
is.
January. Woo.
That's right. And tomorrow we find out if Punxsutawney Phil sees his shadow and we get 6 more weeks of winter.
Do I
I
need to
live
have
in
a conversation with Phil?
I live in Rochester. There's always 6 more weeks of winter, no matter what.
Yeah.
Probably more like 10 more weeks, but who's counting?
Yeah.
Anyway,
It is 70 degrees and it is finally good weather here.
well, it got into the
So,
40s here last week, so that 5 or 6 inches of snow we had before didn't have time to melt slowly and absorb into the ground. So my town was flooded a little bit last week, but
oh, geez.
it's dry now. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, sometimes we usually tell people we talk for a few minutes before we get recording, and we usually talk about what our topic's going to be. But I didn't tell you what the topic is today because I just had an idea,
Ah,
and I think I think it should be good. Okay, so first I want to read something that very many of us have heard before. So here's a little Cherokee thing. And even one evening, a Cherokee man told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. He said, "My son, the battle is between two wolves inside of us. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment. Gosh, that's a long list. Inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about it a minute and then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf wins?" And the old Cherokee simply said, "The one you feed." Okay, so
mm-hmm.
that's a good one, right? And then it reminded me of like those little like cartoons when we were growing up, like the Elmer Fudd type, like that kind of cartoon where like the person would have like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on
Yeah.
the other, whispering into the ears about like and trying to say which one should I do. So I want to be like real about this and tell you that sometimes I feed the other wolves. And sometimes I listen to the little devil on my shoulder because damn it, it's more fun. It just kind of is. And there's I want to say, there's nothing wrong with balance, right? So it's okay because
Sure.
I've been dealing with a lot lately. With the house I'm living in and trying to come with agreement with my family about finally purchasing it and what it's just worth and just all of that
Yeah.
angst, and nothing will get between a family faster than money for sure. um but also, we're shutting down our office and I'm going to be working from home, and I have a lot of emotions about that because I feel like a shut in when I'm not when I can't get around places, that kind of stuff. So I have all of these feelings and emotions, and I thought, yeah, you could listen to just the angel one and be like, oh, it's going to be fine, it's going to be this, but it's not honest to yourself when you
Sure.
only try to just, like I was talking to my mom today and she's like, "Oh, but you're still gonna have a job, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I still have a job." And she's like, "Well, then I don't understand what the issue is." I'm like, "Mom, the issue is it's change. That's a lot of work. It's overwhelming. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not angry, but I'm not, I don't know, obsessed not the right word, but like it's not happy. It's not happy to have to like take 10 years worth of office and try to fit it into your life, your home office. There's not enough room.
Right.
And so what do you give away? And we talked about some of that last time. We talked about like purging and that kind of stuff. And that's because I've been going through this. But it's okay. I want to talk about the fact that it's okay to visit those places of grief and unhappiness. It's okay to visit those places of disappointment and even like depression and anger, as long as you don't live there, right? Like there's balance. It's okay to feel the emotions that come along with things. Like you
Oh,
and I have talked so
oh,
much, right? You've gone through a lot. I've gone through the last few years, like, with Mark and his stroke and everything that you've gone through, trying to like basically single parenting, but also like kind of parenting your husband too, not just your kid and kids. Sorry, you have one at home. I think of her more than him as
yeah.
far as like
My other
parenting.
my other kid is actually like more of a friend, and like he's very I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, he's
But
an
yeah, so I'm
adult, but
just
yeah. And there's we've dealt with so much, and everybody's always like, look on the bright side. Like, I'm sure how many times have somebody said to you, well, at least Mark's still here, you should be happy you still have him, right? Like those
yeah.
kinds of sentiments. And everybody means well when they say those kinds of things, but gosh darn it, couldn't you just throw punch them sometimes when somebody says that?
Yeah, well, it's they mean well. Everybody
Yeah.
who gives me advice or, that I don't have the right to cry on the floor of my closet, that's where I go when it's like, okay, Kathy's
Yep.
gonna break down a little bit. Let's just let this happen. It's either in the shower, on the floor, of my closet. Those are my like cry places.
It's
Um,
cathartic though.
oh yeah. And y the thing that I've noticed, and when I have those really deep, hard emotions, if I really allow myself to feel them and thank them for just being there,
Hmm.
like I'm not my emotions. Emotions, like people say, "Oh, I'm angry." No, you're not. You are feeling anger, but you
Right.
are not angry. You are not your emotions, and you are not your thoughts even. All of these things are just kind of like visitors that come into sort of like the house of yourself, and some of them trash the place, like Mick Jagger at a at a hotel, right? Whoa, we're partying here. Oh, I
Mike,
guess it's
Mike
Joe
Tyson
Walsh
was
was
in
the
there.
one. So, but you are not your emotions, but your emotions are there. To me, having done tons of therapy, especially over the last couple of years, my emotions are markers. There is a gift to show me where my healing is, to show me where
Mhm.
I get to let go of something I don't need to carry around with me. Either it's a belief about myself, a belief about the world, a belief about how safe I am or not. So those emotions come in as really a gift, and I've dealt with a ton of really hard ones. um and just knowing it leads me to a place of like knowing who I really am.
Yeah.
I A recent experience that I had, a recent therapy session, like all these things popped in about my like very very young, like it started with preschool and then it went back, and then I was like popping memories of stuff that happened when I was like toddler maybe. Like I don't remember any of this stuff, but it's popping up, so obviously my unconscious has something to say about it, and it's like explaining why I am reacting in a certain way. Like, oh, okay, well now I know more about myself, and I can let all of the I can let the emotion go a lot better when I know that it's not me, and
Hmm.
I can understand what it is there to show me what I get to let go of.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense, actually. And you made me think of something when you said like that you are not your emotions, you have emotions. It's like I took a class on like the five basic emotions or something my pastor was doing a million years ago, right? And one thing he said was like we have triggers or we have they push my buttons and like like my when you're little like my brother he knew exactly how to get under my skin kind of thing. And then one thing the pastor said is, well, but you let him. And I have a couple thoughts about that. First of all, we don't always know what our buttons are until they get pushed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right,
like
sure.
and then when somebody discovers that something is upsetting to us and they keep like pushing, pushing, pushing and poking the bear kind of thing, is it really there is some level of I'm not going to let him get to me anymore. But also there's a level of who the hell does he think he is to keep picking at that wound, right? So I don't know. I,
Sure.
I don't always agree with these quote unquote scholars that tell us like, well, if you owned your responses, then it wouldn't get to you. Well, it's still going to get to me whether I have an outward anger response or not. It still hurts. It's still, how do you decide just to not be hurt? You can't really. You can
Yeah.
work on getting through those emotions and getting through the pain. I don't think you ever get over a lot of those kinds of things, like not the deeper
Oh,
hurts and like oh
yeah.
you'll get over it. And it's like when when somebody close to you dies and somebody says, "Oh, time heals everything." Like no, that person's never coming back. There's not a
You just
like
forget about it more often, is what ends up
right. You
happening. You just
you
forget
really
about it
do,
more.
right? Like do I think about my dad every day anymore? No, not really. Um but then something will happen. I'll see like those Facebook memories and I'm like, I got caught the other day. Like I'm scrolling through it. I was like, oh my God, I like, burst into tears.
Yep. Yep. Oh, that was me.
Here I go.
Sometimes I have to show Mark videos and pictures of the way things were
Yeah,
a lot. Just so because his memory is gone in a lot of cases. Oh, he'll
right.
remember his ex-wife. Like, he'll remember that.
And
But what
Vicky.
about the one that's dealing with all this, right? That kind of stuff. But so like, but really I want him to remember certain things, especially when it comes
Yeah.
to our daughter. I want him to remember. So I was showing videos of there's this one video he took. He was making a video, and so he wanted a video of our dog running through the meadow in Mount Shasta.
Uh-huh.
And Claire was like, "You," and I was there. He was taking. I'm in the video. Alex, our old golden retriever who passed away, is in the video. My Meadow's in the video. Um, and his voice, the way it used to be, and I was just slayed.
Yeah.
He's all like, "Yeah, I remember this," like, but I'm just slayed because I just miss it all of
Yeah.
it. Just like get me back there in that meadow, the water and everything. It was just,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm not. I'm still. I'll never be over it. I'll never be over the fact that I can't go home.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? And and we have to learn to be okay with it, at least at a certain level, right? We can't live in the grief of not having those things. But it's okay to have those experiences where we miss things and
Yeah,
we maybe regret things, whatever it is, like whatever emotion it is that is that evil wolf, right? It's okay that they come to visit. You don't want the evil wolf to, you don't want the good wolf to kill the evil wolf because we need balance. We need the highs and lows to really understand what is meaningful to us in a lot of respects.
yeah. Well, I think also too, you don't want you don't want to embody you don't want to be the good wolf either. Like you don't want to be
Right.
the bad wolf. You don't want to say I'm angry and I'm happy because like if you like just distance yourself from all of your emotions and you're just like just be, then there's never
Hmm.
any like search for this like I have to find my happiness or I
Right.
have to find like whatever it is. Like I have to go back to my meadow. Like by just being okay with the now and being okay with
Hmm.
nothing with just that empty
Yeah.
there that's really us. That's the
Right.
core of who we are. I was talking to a friend of mine actually in Shasta who would just talk about all kinds of spiritual stuff, and he's like, I can't meditate anymore, I just can't get there. And I'm like, ooh, I've been doing this breathing thing, and we like unpacked breathing, and I'm like, well, it's like the yin and the yang and the breath work of like the in and the out, and but in between the breaths, that's like you're not yin, you're not yang, you're just like the non-dual self. And that's like that's who we really are. And we're both just like, whoa, yeah. I'm not the good wolf, I'm not the bad wolf, I'm not the yin, I'm not the yang. I'm just here to enjoy it all and cry
Yeah.
about it all and
Yeah.
then come back to who I really am,
Yep.
which is just peace.
Yeah. And the fact that good and bad happens, whether we choose to listen to one or the other. It doesn't change the fact that that this world has both of those things in it. And I think, I think a lot about, who I am and who I am in our WordPress community and things like that too, and the messages that I have to share. And I think back to that article that I wrote, that 5 days without a shower, and the experiences that I had
Yeah.
as a disabled person who was not having their accessibility needs met at WordCamp. And it was frustrating. It was hard, but being who I am in the community and being the person that I have with the struggles that I have allowed me to kind of forge a path that others would then find it easier to attend those things because now people are paying attention to that.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't
Yeah.
gotten angry and been hurt
Yep.
and just burst into tears once or twice that week, would those same changes have happened as quickly as they did? And I'd like to say no, they wouldn't have.
Right.
That I was actually a catalyst for some of those things. And so it's okay to as much as that week sucked, I mean, there was good stuff in that week too, right? Like I got to see people, I got to hang out with people. Like it wasn't all bad. Excuse me, but it wasn't all good either. And the fact that I just experienced some real lows during that week really allowed me to find a way to not only advocate for myself, but others too. And I think that that's really important. And if you only listen to the thing about only feed the good wolf, then you aren't being able to use that indignation to be righteous. You aren't able to use those negative experiences to help yourself boost up and help others. And so I think
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said for it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be mad, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be an asshole sometimes. I mean, like, right? Like I'm not Mary Sunshine all the time. It's funny. People are afraid, like they hear me swear. Like I've had somebody say, like they listened to an episode of this, and like, oh my God, I didn't know Michelle Frechette swore. I'm like, I fucking swear all the fucking time. Like I like
There you
that's my
go.
favorite word, right? Exactly. That's a little example. But yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Not that I think anybody thinks I am. But I'm also like so superhuman, not superhuman. I'm so very human is what I mean. That
Yeah.
trust me when I tell you that I have these lived experiences and that it's not all easy, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But have you heard of like the emotional scale, like of, you've got happiness at the top and then like despair at the bottom, and there's like this scale. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've even looked at it, but one thing I remember is that if you're angry, you're up on the scale. You're higher than despair. Anger is movement. And my
Hmm.
husband used to always joke, he's like, kitchen's a mess. Do I need to piss you off? Because he if he got me mad about something, I would like this house would be like clean in a minute because I'd
I
be
love that.
like I'd be angry. Angry cleaning is like it's my
Hmm.
jam, man. I'll get mad about something and the house will get cleaned. I must be happier. This little area, I just cleaned this up, but over there, a lot of the stuff from back here got moved over there. It's a mess. The kitchen's a mess. And oh my gosh, I have to go to word camp next week and I have got to clean because I've got people coming to the house to take care of Mark and yeah, so I feel like I have to clean for these, they have to deal with all my
Hmm.
stuff. So
Yeah.
say something to get me mad. Get me mad, Michelle. I need help. I gotta clean my house. Piss me off.
I,
The
I'm the
call
wrong
to the WordPress community. Help me.
attack attack Kathy on Twitter so she'll want to clean her house.
That's what I need. Yeah, just rile
Oh,
me up, Come on.
yeah.
Somebody get into a fight or something. I'll get mad about something.
Oh my gosh, that's so
I was
funny.
gonna call a name, but I won't. I want everybody's safe.
She's not naming names today.
Everybody's
At least
safe.
at least
Nah.
not when we're recording.
Yeah.
But just wait till afterwards, Kathy. I'll tell you who I'm really mad at.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. My
Ah,
kitchen will be clean by the end of the day.
right. Oh my goodness. But seriously, sometimes it's the menial tasks that are, I mean, they matter, right? Like having a clean house matters, whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. It's not one of the things that matters the most. But but it's those menial tasks we can dig ourselves into that we can like do those things with our hands to keep our and then just like think things through and sit down afterwards and breathe like, okay, I feel a little bit better now, kind of thing. Some people
Yeah.
run, some people clean, some people sleep, like whatever it is, right? To get yourself
Yeah.
through those things. But
Yeah.
anyway. Oh, so I say feed both wolves. Just be careful which one you're feeding more. That's all.
Yeah. And make sure you feed like the part of you that isn't a wolf at all and is never
Yes.
good or bad and just like that
Hmm.
centered self
Yeah,
because then you can just play with the wolves, right? Maybe
that's
they're like
right.
little dogs. You can throw them a ball.
Oh, maybe they are. Maybe they can play with each other too and like just be a happy family. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Pop
I'm
the
making up.
popcorn and just watch the show, right? The drama, the wolf drama.
That would be a TikTok channel I would subscribe to.
Did you see I sent you the squirrel guy, right?
The squirrel guy was awesome.
Oh my gosh. He cracks me up. He's got names for them all. There's a squirrel named Maxine, and she's going to have babies. And like his friend comes over and says, well, that squirrel's fat. And he's like, don't say that to her. It's like, it's like part of squirrel culture. And he's like, why'd you guys tear up the road? How are you going to get your mail? Just like, that's the funniest stuff. I'm sitting here laughing my butt off watching this guy with his squirrels. He's the best.
That's the one you sent me, and he's like, "Look what you did to this road. How are you gonna get your mail?"
Yeah. Hood Rat Raymond. Oh my gosh. There are
Oh,
so many intelligent, funny creators out there right now.
yeah,
Entertainment has never been better.
I
I just hope
agree.
that we're like slightly we're a little bit there too. Like our podcast is making someone laugh.
I hope so too. I do hear from people every once in a while that they listen to things, and somebody told
Yeah.
me they DM'd me the other day that the episode we did last on purging and cleaning out really inspired them to start to clean through things themselves and declutter. And I thought that was really cool. That made me happy. Like, hey, at least we got one person that listened and took something from it, and maybe there's more. We don't always hear from everybody, but it's kind of cool when
Good.
that
Well, share your
happens.
that makes me happy. And whoever that is, I hope they can share some inspiration with me because I still have a garage that needs so much help. Oof.
Oh, I have so much stuff. Tomorrow we're gonna leave the office, close the door for the last time, and there's still
Tomorrow.
so
Oh
much.
my
There's still
gosh.
so much in there to box up and move. And I have to say that I have the best coworker in the whole freaking world. Jeff Betancourt has like
Yeah.
I sit there and point to stuff, and we've like just like partnered up on getting this stuff shut down and get it, moved out. And he's just absolutely a wonderful human being. So
That's
thank goodness,
awesome.
because I never could have done it alone, So yeah, anyway. Well, whoever's listening, if you've made it this far, I think I say that a lot on the show. Uh, tell us about your wolves or chipmunks or squirrels or whatever it is. If you have coping mechanisms that might help us, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
Or
And
just if you
I'm
want
looking
to,
for the funniest creators on Instagram and on who makes you laugh? Like what
yeah.
create like you're just happy to see you get on your scroll and it's like, "Oh, there's a new squirrel video." Like who's your squirrel video guy? Like drop those in the comments cuz I'm all about like hilarious creators. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Kathy. I always smile, and no matter where I am in my moods after we talk, I'm always a little bit happier. So thank you very much.
thank you. Same. I value these conversations so much.
Me too. And I would keep doing them even if we didn't record them and put them out for the rest of the world. But um, I kind of like that we could, I like that we get to share them too. So it's all good. Anyway, we'll see everybody else next week. Bye.
Bye.
This has been WP Motivate with Kathy Zant and Michelle Frechette. To learn more or to sponsor us, go to WPMotivate.com.